Hey, welcome to Sports and Politics with T. I'm your host, Tanya. Tonight we have made it back to Thursday, guys. Listen, I hope everybody's enjoyed their week so far. We are already getting into that first week of September, guys. Let's give it up. Yes, we have made it to Thursday, almost the end of the week again. Tomorrow is Friday, bringing in the first weekend of September. And listen, tonight we are going to be talking about a lot of stuff going on with the economy like normal. We are going to be discussing the housing market and the rental market, how things are projecting, what things are going on right now, and some rent increases that are starting to still increase. All right. Also, we are going to take a look at Donald Trump, who is actually declaring an emergency with the housing market. Okay, that's going to be a little bit later on in the end of the video. So the housing market and the rental market right now is not doing well, guys. And part of it is based on inventory and supply and demand, which we'll get into it a little bit later on in this segment. All right. But anyway, guys, listen, I have just wanted to let you know that we did have some more subscribers to join the channel from Monday to now. We had 3 additional people to join. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And thank you to all my subscribers that's hanging in there with me through all of this. Okay, you are going to enjoy this content. We are going to continue to keep bringing content on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. every week. Also, we are going to start doing more on the relationship channel, which is the fun and entertainment with T channel. Y'all can follow me on that side of the spectrum as well, which I do my shows on Saturdays at 8 p.m. We may incorporate one more day with that channel as well. We're thinking about maybe Wednesday and Saturday at 8 for the relationship channel, and keep our politics and sports on Mondays and Thursdays like normal, okay? And then Fridays is going to be sports. And so we're going to continue to keep bringing all that content. And also, guys, if there's some things that you want to see, or there's some things that you're just thinking about, look, hit me up in the comment section, or you can feel free to send me an email. I'll leave my email link in the description. That way, if there's some things you just think about, we'll be glad to cover those topics as well. All right. But anyway, let's give it up. Yes. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to look at 2 segments. Actually, we're going to look at 3 segments, which is talking about the rental market, how rent prices are still increasing. Okay, listen, the rent is still going up, guys. And I think a lot of people think because COVID has kind of died down and slowed down that rent and everything is starting to go back down. But no, there's a lot of places that are still doubling and tripling in rent. The first segment, we're going to listen in on Freeport. This is an area where people want answers, okay? They want to know why the rent is going up. And so let's listen in on this segment. After the segment is over, I'm going to give you my 2 cents as far as what I feel about this rent increase as far as these residents.
Just days following public outrage at Freeport City Council on Monday, residents demanding answers from city leaders surrounding rising rent prices. Now let's take you to that tense meeting where everything unfolded.
I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for fairness for families, seniors, and working people who just want to stay in their homes, especially as we send our children back to school. We deserve better than to be pushed out of the city that we've helped build.
To seeing all those comments of people that is going to have to leave from where they're living right now because they can't afford it.
You can talk to them. I know you can talk to them, Rob. I know you can. You may not be able to tell them where, excuse me, to put or how much to charge. But you can keep the kids and these people in their homes.
That emotion from residents comes after PPG Homes bought Chapman Properties. The city of Freeport says they believe PPG Homes is an out-of-area management company. Now, they took control of some Freeport rental properties on June 12th. They recently decided to raise rent prices on their tenants, leading to that backlash you just heard. Tonight, Freeport officials have confirmed to 13 WREX that they are aware of the situation, but say they cannot force the company to lower their prices. In Illinois, landlords do have the right to change rates provided that they give you proper notice. If you are in a week-to-week lease, they must give you a 7-day notice. And if you signed a month-to-month lease, the landlord has to give you a 30-day notice. If those laws are not violated, the city cannot legally do anything against a private housing management company. Now that's because of a different state law known as the Rent Control Preemption Act. It says that a local government cannot enact, maintain, or enforce any ordinance or resolution that would control rent prices for people leasing a private or commercial property. Due to this, Freeport says if they were to take any action, it would violate the law. Now, the city does want you to know that Freeport Township does offer rental assistance programs for people who need it. Their number is 815-235-8012. City officials tell us they do plan on reaching out to PPG Homes in the coming weeks. Now, 13 WREX did reach out to PPG for comment. We are waiting to hear back.
All right, so you can see that people are not happy with this, as far as the Freeport residents. And this is sad because, what it is happening is some of these upstate or even South State, they're taking over the old property management. And so new property management has taken over, and so they've raised the rent without any notice, and that's sad. I think that first of all, it's just going to complicate more things. It's going to hurt people because now, your rent could go from 1,000 to 1,500 or 1,000 to 2,000 with just a blank, with no notice, no efforts in trying to work with the tenants that's there, and so this is why people are so upset with all of this rent increase. It's pretty bad, so we're going to listen in on another segment. This is coming out of a Maine mobile home park where, this is, mobile homes. And listen, just because it's not an apartment, that doesn't mean that if you're living in a mobile home or whatever, that's exempt. No, trust me, those places get hit hard too. So anyway, let's listen in on this, and then I'll give you my opinion as far as how I feel about this rent increase for the Maine mobile home park.
CBS 13 has learned of at least 8 mobile home parks in Maine, raising monthly rents by $75 or more.
Tenants of Blue Haven Mobile Home Park in Saco just got their notices. As CBS 13's Brad Rogers shows us, the new rent hike is about 5 times higher than normal.
Mobile home park owners across the state are raising rents after new state laws were enacted aimed at protecting tenants. Blue Haven in Saco is the latest park where rents are being raised.
This would be the second increase this year. Yeah.
Barb Thomas and Barbara Scorse are on disability, and like many Blue Haven mobile homeowners, they're on fixed incomes.
We know 70-plus-year-old people in this park that from the last raise we had this year had to go out and get part-time jobs to try to afford to stay in here. And now they're raising it another $145 or more. That's going to be very hard for some older people.
Rodney Champagne was looking for part-time work when he got the rent increase notice.
Because things had been so tight. And I thought, okay, this is going to be giving me breathing room. And then I get that letter. It's like, you get to a point where you just can't cut back anymore.
Monthly lot rents will go up to at least $660. Some pay more than that. Nowhere in the rent notice do owners give a reason for the rent hike. We left messages for park owners, but have not heard back.
I don't see what they're basing this big increase on.
Some mobile home park owners admit they've raised rents higher than usual to prepare for new state laws soon taking effect to protect mobile home tenants. They say inflation and higher property taxes are part of it as well. Linda Babbitt says the new rent will be more than half her monthly Social Security check.
We're not Californians. We live in Maine. What do you do? I mean, what do you cut out if you're at the bare minimum now?
In September, a new state law takes effect, giving mobile homeowners the power to negotiate rent increases.
Some of the neighbors have already gone out, got signatures yesterday. Some are doing it today. So
Blue Haven owners have given tenants here 90 days to request mediation. In order to do that, 51% of the tenants here have to agree. In Saco, Brad Rogers, CBS 13 News.
Yeah, and see, this is another thing. You heard from this segment that the rent could go up an additional $145. Some of them are going up an additional $600. And you heard it from one of the residents. One resident said, "Hey, I got a part-time thinking this is going to give me some breathing room, but now they done raised it again." And it's like, this is just terrible, guys. Again, why now? COVID has been over now for a few years. Okay, we understand that the landlords didn't get paid. Well, not all of them, but they didn't get paid what they were supposed to get paid during COVID. But guess what? The government is what issued the halt to everything, to shut down the government, to shut down employment, to shut down where people can't go to work. And so if people can't go to work, they can't create income, So that's what I'm saying. The government should, to me, step in and help people with their rent until things get better. Because right now, people on, fixed income and Social Security, disability, things like that, things that just your income is the same every single month. Guess what? If you're only bringing in $1,200 a month and your rent is $1,000 when it used to be $400, you're not going to have anything left, And then a lot of times with disability, you can only work a few hours. You can't go but a certain amount of hours, though your benefits will get cut off. So it's a catch-22. It's like you want to make more money, but you can't do that. Because if you do that, then you lose all your benefits as far as your disability or Social Security. So it's sad, and then, also with Section 8 going away, which was making it affordable for some, that's going to hurt people in the process because now they got to go out and find jobs. And that, like I said in Monday, some people do need to work. let me rephrase that. But there are some that are working and they're coming up short. And with any type of increase, it just makes it worse and worse and worse. So it's like you can never get ahead. You do it, you get a job, you get a part-time, and then they move the bar again. And then you try to get some more, and then you move the bar again, or your benefits get cut, or your Medicaid get cut. And it's like, it's an uphill battle, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's move on to the next one. This is talking about how the rental assistance or, Section 8, things like that is running out, guys. This is real. This is definitely real. And the reason why I'm stressing this is because I don't think people realize that once Section 8 is cut, this is going to be a calamity. Okay. And I can already see that already. So anyway, let's go ahead and listen in on this. And then I'm going to let you know how I feel about how the emergency assistance is really going to be something that's going to be needed. So anyway, let's listen in.
A rental assistance program in Franklin County is ending in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, it's helped thousands of people stay in their homes all through the COVID pandemic. 10 TV's Colin Dorsey has a look at why it's ending.
The easiest way to say it, the money's gone. The Emergency Rental Assistance Program through Impact Community Action is coming to an end at the end of the month. It's helped about 40,000 households in Franklin County since the COVID pandemic. But just because that program's coming to an end doesn't mean there aren't other ways to find help.
Floor 11, Franklin County Eviction Court. The people here, most of them, have fallen on hard times, can't pay their rent. If they wrote the rent check, it would bounce.
The job market isn't so good, so it's hard to get a good job at that.
Peyton Lewis sold cars for a living. That is, until COVID ended that for him.
Kind of just a long story of losing jobs and family deaths and everything and just getting too far behind.
Now he hopes he can stay in his apartment. The tables in the hallway are trying to find people like him solutions, but now there'll be one less option for help.
Those dollars are coming to an end.
Impact Community Action has distributed about $130 million since COVID to help people stay in their homes when they otherwise couldn't make rent. The money supporting that program expires this month.
Is there enough to make it through the end of the month?
Yeah, so we do have dollars to make it through the end of the month. We are basically taking all of the applications that have been submitted. Those will be processed, but we're not taking new applications.
Robert Bo Chilton is the CEO of Impact Community Action. Their other programs to help with utility bills, jobs, and the like are still moving forward. The rental assistance money had helped offset the rising rents in a growing city. And Chilton says people will feel the crunch.
Now that those dollars are gone, we're right back to where we were. And the reality is that we've grown and we've seen a greater need.
Even with that ERA program coming to an end, there are still resources available. For example, Franklin County Municipal Court has a self-help center for those facing eviction. They can help you walk through the process and maybe even find a solution before you're forced out. The key to that, though, is getting there as soon as possible when you first get that eviction notice. In Columbus, Colin Dorsey, 10 TV News.
All right, so you heard it here that they said they got enough, through the end of this month, but going into October, this is terrible, guys. I have to stress this enough because you got to understand it's getting ready to be cold in a few months. Okay, probably in another month or two because the temperatures are already starting to change now. And with the rent doubling and even tripling in certain areas, do you know how many families and with kids are going to be misplaced? Do you know how many shelters are going to be overwhelmed? Some of them are already overwhelmed right now. They don't have enough resources. They're even saying food banks are starting to really struggle too because people are not donating as much, and then the food that they have goes so fast because of the demand. There's so many people that need that food. So again, and then you're getting ready to be in the fall, and it's going to start turning cold in the holiday season. It's just terrible, guys. It's just really, really bad. So we're hoping and praying that something is going to break, for these families. All right. But now the last thing we're going to talk about is President Trump is going to talk about the housing market as far as mortgages. We talked about rent just a few minutes ago, but now we're talking about the, people who's homeowners, and to say that, hey, even with homes, this is not looking good either. The thing with the housing market when it comes to mortgages is that there isn't a lot of demand right now. And there's not a lot of inventory. The demand was there when the interest rates were low, but now that the rates has gone up and the sellers are not selling their house, guess what? Now the inventory is very low, and as long as that inventory stays low, the price of houses are going to stay high. Okay, which is sometimes it's hard to get into a home when the values are so high. People are predicting a housing crash. Now, they've been talking about a housing crash for the last year or two. And so we haven't seen that yet. And to me, like I said, until we see an influx of inventory, if the supplies start getting bigger, then I can kind of see it. But right now, the inventory is just not there. So anyway, let's listen in because they're saying that Trump may declare a national housing emergency. This is coming from yesterday's news. So let's listen in on Live Now, and I'll let you know how I feel about this.
Let's shift gears here a little bit on Live Now from Fox and talk about another initiative that the Trump administration is pushing forward with. They're considering a potential national housing emergency as soon as this fall. That a report from the Washington Examiner, Christian Daytalk, and also President Trump confirming that today at that press conference inside of the Oval Office. For more on this and what it potentially could look like, let's take you out to Mike Emanuel with this report.
Our housing industry is good, but it could be phenomenal.
President Trump is putting the spotlight on housing. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the president is considering a national housing emergency declaration in the fall to address high costs and low availability. There aren't many specifics available, but the White House is reportedly looking at standardizing local building and zoning codes and decreasing closing costs.
We're looking at what the president has available to him. This president understands real estate. He understands housing better than anybody. We will fix this housing market.
It comes as the president ramps up his war of words with Fed Chair Jerome Powell, claiming his reluctance to cut interest rates is making housing unaffordable.
We have this affordability crisis, and there are two ways to fix it. We're bending the curve on inflation, and then we can bring down prices.
But some conservatives are opposing the emergency declaration, arguing the market needs to correct itself.
We want to encourage home ownership, but you got to have the housing out there. The housing stock is not growing fast enough.
Remember what I just said? Inventory is low. He just said it. The stock is not there. There's no houses to buy, because the reason why is because the people that have homes now, or who's bought a home, their rates are probably pretty reasonable. And so they probably bought it, within the last couple of years or a few years ago when the interest rates were very, very low. Well, guess what? Those rates are about 3 to 4% higher now. So back in 2021, 22, you was at an all-time low. You could get a mortgage around maybe 3%, 2 and a quarter, 2.5, 3%. Well, now those same interest rates are around 6 to 7 to even 8%. So a person that has a house is not going to want to get another house at a higher interest rate, and not only that, get a smaller home that's more expensive. You know what I'm saying? Because the value of the homes are so high that even some of the smallest houses cost just as high as some of the 2-story homes. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into the housing market. But anyway, let's keep going.
The bottom line here.
And Democrats who have made housing affordability a major issue say President Trump is just playing politics, hoping to appeal to more moderate voters ahead of the midterm elections.
So what they're saying is he's just saying stuff just to be saying stuff. I mean, it is what it is. Because until inventory goes up, you can't fix it. You can build more homes, but those homes are going to still be more expensive, because the supplies are more expensive, the materials are more expensive, and again, the interest rates are more or higher. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't buy a home. I'm just saying that right now, until it corrects itself, the only way it's going to correct itself is if the rates go down and sellers start selling their homes more and increase the inventory in the housing market. So, but anyway, they're saying that this is a political thing, that he's just saying this because of the midterms, because he knows deep down that this is not good. Yeah, he knows. He knows that the housing market doesn't look good. It hasn't looked good in a few years. Even when Biden and Kamala was in, it still was not at its best, even for at that time as well. So, but right now it's got worse. Okay. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to kind of tackle the housing crisis right now and the rental market, because you see that the prices are still going up even after COVID. You hear from residents, you hear from people, you hear from, just people, everyday working Americans, like, what is it going to take? It's like, if the rent goes up, it goes up double. Even if for mortgage paid people, if your property taxes go up, guess what? Your payment still can go up even for a mortgage, and we've had a lot of homeowners say, hey, my property taxes went up $500, $600 or $1,000. Well, guess what? If your property taxes go up, your payment can go up as well. So it's just crazy, guys. We're just going to have to keep an eye out on everything and hope that there's going to be some type of solution, okay? But anyway, guys, I will be back actually Saturday. We're going to do the fun and entertainment with T, and we're going to get back into the relationship and fun and entertainment on 8 o'clock on Saturday. So catch me on that. Y'all follow me back on that side as well. And also, this week, we didn't post scores for NFL because the preseason is over. And so now the regular season has started, okay? So we didn't have any scores for last week to post for this week. But next Tuesday, we will have all these week's scores for the regular season to post on this coming Tuesday. All right, so look on the shorts. I will be posting those as well. And listen, guys, like I said, if you see something and there's something you want to talk about, please let me know. I'll be glad to go over anything that comes to mind. All right, but let's give it up for tonight. We have enjoyed the show. And listen, if you enjoyed this content, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you can, please hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss any episodes every time I come on to YouTube. All right. I will be back again on Saturday at Fun and Entertainment with T. That's my second channel. Fun and Entertainment with T. Y'all come on over and tell all your friends all about that channel as well. That's where we have all our good fun over there. All right. Yes. All right, guys. So I will see y'all on Saturday at 8 p.m. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.